Hello and welcome to CATEX TV. Today is Wednesday the 26th of March. Insurers of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 have agreed to share the $100 million cost of the lost plane, as it remains unclear how and why it went down. The agreement is between the airline's reinsurers for the cost of the plane and doesn't cover the costs related to passengers' individual life policies or compensation from the airline for the passengers. The reinsurance of the plane is divided between those insurers covering hull and liability on an all-risk comprehensive cover that covers the loss of passengers in the plane, and a separate policy that covers the plane against a malicious act known as hull, war and allied perils. The agreement by the reinsurers doesn't signify that either side accepts full liability, and the size of the payment from either side for the destroyed plane will be subject to negotiations among themselves, even as the airline is paid in full. German insurer Allianz Global and Corporate Specialty said last week that it was the lead reinsurer on the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 for the hull and liability policy. Separately, the Lloyd's of London Unit Atrium is the lead for the airline's policy that covers the plane against malicious acts. Officials say a double-decker bus carrying municipal workers on a field trip plunged off a steep road into a ravine in western Thailand, killing at least 30 people. The accident happened on Monday evening in Tak, which borders Myanmar, as several buses ferried Thai local government workers for a field trip to Laos. There are more than 300 accidents on the same road last year. Thailand's roads are amongst the world's deadliest, and accidents are common, especially on buses travelling late at night. West African nations scramble to contain an outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus suspected to have killed at least 59 people in Guinea, with symptoms of the disease reported in neighbouring Sierra Leone and Liberia. The spread of Ebola, one of the most lethal infectious diseases known, has spooked nations with weak healthcare systems. In Guinea's southeast, home to all the confirmed cases, residents are avoiding large gatherings, and prices in some markets have spiked as transporters avoid the area. Health authorities in Liberia say they have now recorded 8 suspected cases of Ebola, mainly in people who crossed the border from Guinea. 5 of those have died, but tests were still being carried out to check if the cases were indeed Ebola. The World Health Organization said a total of 86 suspected cases, including 59 deaths, have been reported. The virus causes a raging fever, headaches and muscle pain, conjunctivitis and weakness before moving into the more severe phases of vomiting, diarrhea and hemorrhaging. That's both internal and external bleeding. According to a report from the World Health Organization, air pollution kills about 7 million people worldwide each year, and with more than half the fatalities due to fumes from indoor stoves. The agency said air pollution is the cause of about 1 in 8 deaths and has now become the biggest single environmental health risk. Frank Kelly, director of the Environmental Research Group at King's College London, who is not part of the WHO report, told the Associated Press news agency, "We all have to breathe, which makes pollution very hard to avoid. One of the main risks of pollution is that tiny particles can get deep into the lungs, causing irritations. Scientists also suspect air pollution may be to blame for inflammation of the heart, leading to chronic problems or a heart attack." Lloyd's of London, the insurance market, reported a 14% increase in the aggregate profits for 2013 thanks to reduced catastrophe claims, and reaffirmed its ambition to expand into the world's fast-growing emerging market and economies. The more than 80 competing insurance syndicates that operate at Lloyd's made a combined profit of £3.2 billion, that's about $5.3 billion last year, up from £2.8 billion in 2012, according to the 325-year-old insurance market. Inga Beale, who succeeded Richard Ward as the Lloyd's chief executive in January, said the market would press ahead with its Vision 2025 strategy of expansion across the fast-growing economies of Asia and Latin America. And finally, according to Swiss Re, catastrophe losses fell 44% in 2013. The insurance industry's catastrophe claims burden fell to $45 billion last year, that's down 44%, helped by a quiet US hurricane season. The report that was published today attributed the drop to comparative lack of North Atlantic hurricanes, although it noted that the US incurred its biggest annual insured loss on record due to severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. Natural catastrophes generated $37 billion of claims worldwide, with floods and hailstorms across Europe and Canada ranking as the costliest for insurers. That's all from us today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Until then, thank you and goodbye.